In this tutorial, I'm going to walk you through some of the basics of the Google Analytics platform and highlight some of the key areas that will be relevant for you as a beginner blogger so you can gain some insights into the essentials such as how to know how many visitors are coming to your blog, how to see what pages and posts they're viewing, how to view the different traffic channels that are bringing you visitors such as Google and Facebook, how to understand how users are engaging with your blog and its content, and we will cover some other stuff too. Now, for the purposes of this tutorial, I'll be using the Google Merchant Store Demo Analytics account. The reason being is that if you've just installed Analytics on your blog, you're probably not going to have a lot of data. And the Merchant Store Demo account is a fully working Analytics account, packed full of data, and you can use it as your training wheels. And I will include a link to the demo account beneath this video. So if you're ready, let's get started. So once you log into the Google Analytics platform, you're going to be presented with the homepage. And the homepage contains different widgets that pulls information from the various analytics reports. There's 5 analytics reports: the real-time report, the audience report, the acquisition report, the behavior report, and the conversion report. And we're going to explore these in a minute. So what kind of information can we see here? We can see, for example, the active users on your blog right now. We can see the top pages that those users are viewing. If we scroll down, we can see information like how you're acquiring users, so how traffic is coming to your blog. So we can see organic search traffic like Google or social traffic. And also you can, within each of these widgets, you can view the date range from which you're viewing data. So 7 days, 14 days, or you can choose a custom date range. So what else can we see? If we scroll down, we can see things like the times of day that users are coming to your blog, where your users are from, so where in the world they're coming from, top devices that users are using when they're coming to your blog, such as desktop, mobile, and tablet. And if we scroll down, we can see things like the pages that your users are visiting. So that's the home page. It's basically providing a snapshot of some key information that's pulled from the different analytics reports. And we're going to go over these now. First up, we're going to look at the real-time report. Now, the real-time report, as the name suggests, provides real-time data of what's happening on your blog live at this moment in time. So when you click on the overview tab, we can see that there's 14 users on your blog, 86% are from desktop and 14% are from mobile. We can see the number of page views per minute. We can see the top active pages on your blog at this moment in time, so the most viewed pages. We can see the top referrals, so these are other sites that are linking to you and bringing you traffic. We can see top social traffic, so we could see here, for example, if users have come from Facebook or YouTube, and we can also see keywords that are bringing users to your blog. If we scroll down, we can see some location information, so this is where in the world your users are coming from. So that's basically the overview tab. It is providing you with real live data of what's happening on your blog in any given moment in time. Now, within each of the reports, you can drill down further into the data. So I can drill down further into the location data or the traffic sources and the content. But that's all we're going to look at here in this report. Next up, we're going to look at the audience report. Now, the audience report provides information on the users who are coming to your blog. So you can see things like the number of visitors, you can see the amount of pages they're viewing. We can get other data such as demographic data and mobile data. So let's look around the audience report and see what we can see. So first up, we're going to visit the overview tab. Now, as a beginner, this is where you're going to gain most of your insights about your audience in the audience reports. So what can we see here? First up, we have this graph here. Now, this depicts the number of users that come to your blog within a specified date range, and you can choose the date range up here. Now, you can choose to view data from weeks or days or months or years. And also, when you're in this date range, I want to highlight something that if you click this compare button, now you can compare information week on week, month on month, so you can get an idea of your blog's performance over time. So I can look at this graph and see if I've got more users this week than last week or this year compared to last year. I'm going to click out this. Also, we can view the graph here by hour, by week, and by month. And by default, the graph is set to show users, but you could also use it for the display page views or new users, but generally you're going to leave it at the default user setting. So what else can we see in the overview tab? We've got other metrics here. We can see the number of users that are coming to our blog within the date range. This is new plus returning users. We can see new users that have come to our blog within the date range. Now, there's something I want to highlight about new users. If I come to your blog for the first time from my desktop, it will record me as a new user. But then if I come from my mobile for the first time, it's also going to record me as a new user. So it's just something to be aware of when you're viewing this. You've got the sessions. So the sessions is a period of time when someone's been actively engaged with your blog. What that means is that if I come to your blog and I view a page, then I view a post, then I download your ebook, then I view another post, and then I click off your blog and leave, this is recorded as one session. Now, if I come back to your blog later on in the day and view some more pages and posts, this is recorded as another session. Here we have the number of sessions per user. We have the amount of pages viewed within the selected date range. So within this view, just something I want to point out as well is that it shows multiple views of the same page. So if I come to your blog and I load or reload a page 100 times, it's going to show in this number here. We can see the number of pages per session. So it's the average number of pages that people are viewing within a session. We can see how long people are spending on our blog per session, so the average session duration, and we have the bounce rate. Now, what a bounce is when a user comes to your blog and they only view one page and they don't engage with anything else in your blog, they don't click any links, they don't do anything else, they view one page and leave. This is known as a bounce. And the bounce rate that we see here is the number of sessions in which users have come to your blog and only engaged with one page and not interacted with anything else. Now, when it comes to bounce rate, the lower the bounce rate, the better. So 40% is good, 50% is okay, 60% is it's still decent, but it's not so great. Anything over 60, 65, 70 means you probably need to do some work on your blog and make some improvements, which we'll talk about in a second. So now that you know what all these different things mean, what kind of insights can you gain? Well, for example, sessions, number of sessions, average session duration, pages per session, and bounce rate. It lets us know how users are engaging with our blog as a whole. So, for example, if we see that the bounce rate is high and that the average session duration is low, like 30 seconds, and the number of pages per session is 1.5, well, there's a few things we could deduct from that. We can deduct that A, maybe when people are coming to our blog, they're not finding the content of value. It's not quality content, so they're leaving, they're not engaging with other content on the blog. It could also be that the traffic that's coming to a blog is not relevant. And what that means is that, for example, if you've published or posted links in Facebook groups and Reddit groups that are not your target audience, but yet people within those groups are clicking on your link and coming to your blog to check it out and then leaving, that would contribute to a high bounce rate and low average session duration and pages session view. Or it could be a technical issue. Maybe people are finding it hard to navigate your blog, or pages are being slow to load. So these metrics here give us a high level overview of how users are engaging with your blog. What else can we see on this page? We can see our number of new or returning users versus new users. And this is important because you want to see growth in new users and you also want to see growth in returning users. So if you're seeing the growth in new users, it means that your marketing efforts are paying off. And when you see a return, you see growth of return visitors, it means that people are finding your blog of value and they're coming back to read more. So what else can we see on this page? We can see some demographic data. So we can see the different browser languages. We can see what countries people are coming to your blog from. And if I click in here, we can see the amount of users coming from the different countries. We could also click down as far as city view. We've got some system data, so we can see what browsers people are using, what operating systems like Windows or Mac, what service providers such as Comcast, and we can see that for mobile as well. So that's the audience overview tab within audience reports, and it is going to give you some high level data about the users that are coming to your blog. So a couple of other things here we're going to look at in the audience report, and that is demographic data. Now, by default, when you set up analytics, demographics won't be enabled, and you have to enable that, but it's easy to do. It's just a click of a button. And once enabled, if you click into the overview tab, you'll get a breakdown of your demographic. So you can see male versus female, and you can see some age data, and you can click into each of those for more granular data. So when I click into demographic data here for age, I've got this funky graph here that depicts the different age ranges that are coming to my blog. And when I scroll down, I get some more detailed data. So I can see the different date ranges, I can see the amount of users per date range, and I can see how these different age ranges are interacting with my blog. So again, I've got bounce rate, sessions, pages per sessions, average session duration. Now here we've got conversion information. When you first install analytics, you're not going to see this because you need to set up goals, which we'll touch on later, but don't worry about it. You're not going to see this here now in your analytics count. Another thing I want to touch on here is mobile usage. So within the mobile tab, if I click on overview, I can see the mobile usage. So the breakdown of desktop users versus mobile versus tablet. And again, up here, I've got my graph. It's set to users. I can select the date range and I can view by day, by week, by month. So what kind of information might we get here? Well, I can look here and I can see how, again, how the people from different devices are interacting with your blog. And I could come here and go, well, I can see that mobile users, there's a high bounce rate and they're not viewing that many pages, and average session duration is low. And there's a couple of things I might deduct from that. I can go, well, for one, that probably my mobile experience isn't so good, which means that uh, my blog is not optimized for mobile. So mobile users could be finding it hard to navigate on mobile, or maybe it's my pages are slow to load on mobile, or maybe my content doesn't look good on mobile devices. What that means is that, if you have very long paragraphs, they can look okay on desktop, but on mobile, they can look like big chunks of text, which puts people off reading it. So that could cause stuff like a high bounce rate and low pages per session and average session duration. So that's all we're going to look at here inside the audience report. So basically the audience report is going to give you information on your users. And as a beginner blogger, you're probably going to come here to the overview tab to gain a lot of the insights. Next up, we're going to look at acquisition. Now, the acquisition report, this tells you how people are coming to your blog. And again, the main view here is the overview tab. And when you click in, you get a breakdown of the different channels that are bringing you traffic. So here we can see the percentages of channels. So organic, direct, referrals, social, affiliates, paid, and display. And I'll talk about these more in a second and explain them. We can see the users and we can see conversions. And again, you won't have conversion data unless you've goals set up, but I will touch on it in a second. And when you scroll down, you've got the different channels. And again, you've got how users are engaging with your blog when they come from these different channels: bounce rate, pages per session, average session duration. So what are these things? So organic search is people that come from search engines like Google and Bing. Direct is generally when people are typing your URL directly into a browser and going direct to your blog. Referral traffic is people that come from links that you've published on other sites or other sites that are linking to you, and people come through those links. Social is your social traffic. Affiliates, you probably won't have affiliates if you just started a blog, but affiliates are people who promote your products and services for a commission. And you got paid and SERP. So if you have paid ad campaigns, you can see the performance of those here. Now with conversions, what conversions is with analytics, you can set up goals which measure specific things. For example, I might want to measure the amount of people who register for my newsletter, or if I'm selling digital products, I might want to, I definitely would want to measure how many people are purchasing products, or I might want to measure how many people land on a certain page. And when I have goals set up, I can then view how each of these channels contribute to those different goals. So this is the audience overview tab. And on a high level, what you gain from this, you begin to understand the impact of your marketing efforts. So if you've been putting a lot of work into your social, you would expect to see, a high amount of users coming from social. And with that, then you can determine if your marketing efforts are working and where to focus your marketing efforts for the future. Now, within each of these channels here, if you click into them, you get more detailed information per channel. So again, you've got user data here, but when I scroll down, now I can see the different social channels that are bringing me traffic. And again, you've got how people are engaging with those various channels. So you've got bounce rate, pages, sessions. What kind of information and insights could we gain for this? Well, for example, say I was putting a lot of work into Quora, but I see, I'm not getting a lot of traffic. And, when people come from Quora, I've got a high bounce rate, and I'm seeing that they're not viewing that many pages, spend that long on my blog. Well, I might infer from that I'm not going to focus any more time or as much time on Quora, and instead I'm going to put my energies into channels that are giving me better results. Now, within these channels here, you can drill down into all of them. So you can drill down into your organic channels, and this will show you some of the different keywords that are bringing traffic to your blog. And again, you'd see how traffic from those different keywords perform. The same with referral traffic. Now, for example, if you were running a guest blog marketing campaign, guest blogging is when you publish content on other websites to leverage that traffic. So say you'd publish 10 guest posts in a month, and you come in here and you click on referrals, and now you see that uh, blog A and blog B are bringing you a lot of traffic, as you could see here by the users coming from blog A and from B, and how those users were engaging. You go, okay, blog A and blog B, I'm getting a lot of traffic, but the rest of them are not giving me good results. Well, then for next month where to focus your marketing efforts and only publish on the blogs that are giving you results. Likewise, you could just see maybe someone has linked to your blog, and you can see you're getting a lot of traffic from that site. So maybe you reach out to that person and you can do some form of partnership. So that's the acquisition report. It tells you how traffic is coming to your blog, and it lets you understand the impact of your marketing efforts, and allows you then to focus your marketing efforts on what's working and what's not. So next up, we've got the behavior tab. Now, when we looked at the audience report, we could see some high-level metrics of how people were engaging with our blog. Within the behavior tab, we can see page-level metrics of how people are engaging with the different pages. The main place you're going to come to here as a beginner is site content, all pages. And when you click into all pages here, you're going to get a breakdown of the top pages on your blog that are bringing you traffic. Here you've got a graph of the page views by default, and again you can set the date range and the view by day, by week. But when you scroll down, now you get the information on your top pages that are bringing you traffic. And we can view, for example, the amount of page views that each page is getting. And again, remember with page views, that repeated views of the same page are counted. So if someone loads a page 100 times, you're going to see that here. And you've got unique page views. Now, unique page views is different than page views in that if I come to your blog and in a session I reload a page 100 times, well, in unique page views, that only counts as one page view. So this view gives you a more accurate view of single page view. So it cuts out the noise of multiple page views that you might get within this view here. Also, we've got the average time on page. We've got entrances. So this is the amount of visitors that are coming to your blog through a certain page. So they're entering your blog through a certain page, and this is the number of visitors. You've got bounce rate, which we've already touched on, and we've got exit rate here. Exit rate is the number of people that exit your blog through a particular page. So if you saw a high exit rate for a particular page, you might ask yourself why that is happening. Now, if it's a contact page, you would expect people to leave their details or contact you and then leave, so you'd expect a high exit rate. But if it's a normal page, then the exit rate is very high, you would ask yourself why. Here you've got page value again. When you just set up analytics, you won't see this, so don't worry about it. So all this information here gives you an idea of how your different pages are performing and how users are engaging with those different pages. So some of the things you might see here, for example, is if I had created a really long blog post of 4,000 words and it takes 6 minutes to read, but I come here and I see, well, I'm getting a lot of page views, but I see that the average time on page is only 30 seconds and that it's got a very high bounce rate. Well, I could definitely deduct from that there's something wrong with that content. Either it's not of value, or people could be finding it hard to navigate through the content. Maybe it's not formatted correctly. So you can kind of deduct that content that needs improvement or content that needs tweaks. Likewise, if you've got a post that you see there's high engagement rate, very low bounce rate, you can go, okay, maybe I'm going to make some more content like that. So within here in the all pages view, you get an idea of your top pages and how people are engaging with those pages, so you can get ideas of where to improve content, or if you've got content that's performing really well, maybe how to make that better. And within here, you've got 10 pages to view, but you can choose to view more, like I can choose 500 or 1,000 pages. One other thing I want to point out here before we leave the all pages view is, see here you see / home page. When you look at your analytics, all pages, you're just going to see a / and that is your home page, just so you know. So there's one other thing I want to touch on here within the behavior report, and that is the site search. Now, site search is a very handy feature. If you have a search box on your blog, you can use site search to see what people are searching for, and it can provide you with great data. So if you come here and you see that people are searching, you'll see all the search terms here, and you see that people are searching for information on blog posts that you don't have or information you don't have, you can then go and create a post around that information, so you've got really targeted blog posts that you know that your visitors are going to love. So that's all we're going to look at in the behavior tab. So behavior lets you know how people are engaging with your blog, and the main takeaways you're going to get as a beginner is to understand how they're engaging with the different pages of your blog and how those pages are performing. The last thing we're going to look at here is the conversions report. Now, I'm not going to go deep into this. I'm only going to touch on it. We mentioned earlier about goals, that you can set up goals to measure different things like the purchases or newsletter registrations, or if people are viewing certain pages. And within the conversions report here, you can see how those different goals are performing. Now, as your blog grows, you're definitely going to set up goals. But for now, as you're just starting, you're probably not. But if you do, then you can view that here within the conversion reports. And that's all we're going to look at for this tutorial. Now, there's lots of stuff within analytics we have not even touched on, but you don't need that information now. For now, you've got enough information to be getting on with, so you can at least gain some insights that can help you grow and improve your blog. And that's all we're going to cover for today. I do hope you've enjoyed this video, and I do hope you've gained some insights. Thank you very much for watching.